Hey everyone, Brian Von VA here, back at it again with another set of D&D stories. Today we have, what are some of your favorite characters' crowning moments? For me, a few characters stand out. Makakai, a Goliath-sized warrior fighter with a big hammer. He uses the hammer with brutal effectiveness in combat and stirs his signature stew with the handle. His crowning moment was bringing the hammer down on the head of a wounded ancient dragon, then setting up shop to make a spicy dragon stew. Lord Rowan Renault, first of his name, an undead paladin with a sword of light that is immune to radiant damage and can walk in the sun. He was the noble protector of the city he founded for centuries. Turns out he's a lich, and the city is his philanthropy. Soul, a young scourge Aasimar that spent her entire life in heaven or Celestia, and has no idea how the real world works until she was cast out through no fault of her own. Her crowning moment is telling a sleazy man that he's not allowed in her league, after someone earlier told her that she was out of his league. Leprey Contro, Deep Gnome Monk, the party drunk. Asked the big bad evil guy's third in command for a cookie, and received said cookie only to use it as a successful bribe on the BBEG's cave troll to allow the party safe passage. Used a ring of water walking to cross a river and scope out a bandit keep by claiming to be going for a stroll and wanting to borrow a cup of sugar. He used said ring of water walking to race another PC to the gong that summoned a dragon turtle because the other PC wanted to cause chaos and Leprey just wanted to brew ale without interruptions. Not once, but twice got caught and stripped of everything, and I mean everything, when asked if he could have his pants back at least, and was quickly refused. He asked both times if the captors had a kink for male deep gnomes, but would at least like the kindness of not having the breeze between his legs. Was feet away from stealing a lich's philanthropy because he had run out of wine and discovered that rum made him a bitter drunk rather than the happy drunk wine did. Stopped himself because he just wanted to prove a point to himself, because the lich was somehow racist to Leprey, specifically despite sharing the same enemies as the party. Honorable mentions are the two characters I played that made the entire party laugh. I forgot the name, but it was a mountain dwarf paladin. For a one-shot, I created someone based off the song Rasputin by Boney M. Basically, he was mid-inspirational speech with one of the last free armies of the world as demons had all but taken the last strongholds. Whisked away to help the party find and destroy the source of power for the demons and turn the tide of the war. He finished his speech to the party and they all delve into the cave. Fast forward, the party somehow managed to gain the attention of the demons within them, and instead of following the paladin to escape the oncoming horde, the party decided to form up and create a kind of meat blender, which proved to be slow but effective at fighting. My paladin decided to keep on exploring and quickly discovered the source of power. Revealed it, triggered the boss of the dungeon and proceeded to cast haste on himself and sprint back to the party, just as the party were finishing up their blender combo. The paladin stopped just before the door he left through, straightened up his uniform, took a deep breath, walked into the room, and said in a deadpan Russian accent, "If you had followed me, we could have finished this 3 minutes ago." The table erupted in laughter. This paladin also got to use lay on hands and slap someone upside the head as the lay on part. Rolled a nat 20 to slap someone upside the head so they could be healed. Altantos, human variant bard. The H is silent to pronounce Altantos. Altantos started out as a one-shot PC that became a plot-based DM PC after I took a break from DMing. A player did an in-universe one-shot, which caused the carryover between PC and DM PC. The party were seeking people with tattoos, and one had gotten away from them in the confusion of the timelines diverting. That's another story. The one that got away was Altantos. After leaving them from their first meetup, Altantos left them a recording which was done entirely in avian, bird language. After gallivanting around doing other things that players do best when not doing the main quest, they eventually bumped into Altantos again. This time in a party in the Fey Wild. Altantos is a College of Glamour bard, and in this universe, the College of Glamour is located in the Feywild. Feywild being home to questionable things looking to steal any information to gain an upper hand. Altantos used a near-dead language to hide the information because if any of the Fey found out about his tattoo, he would be screwed more than usual. So the party took it upon themselves to ask if there was another language that Altantos knew so they could converse more. Can you speak Common? No, too obvious. Can you speak Sylvan? No, all Fey knew Sylvan, and it wasn't private enough. He didn't know Draconic, Dwarven, Orcish, Infernal, or Abyssal. It got to the point where languages were being sent at him in one-word questions that Altantos just held up a hand, pointed outside away from the party, and said, "Privately?" The players broke down in laughter when they realized that speaking privately was an option. I'd have to say, I got 3 so far. Thea Gemblossom, female drow assassin ranger. She was raised to be a weapon, but in her one moment of weakness and growing a conscience, she accidentally got her whole squad killed. She then ran away to the surface and became an assassin. Though she only takes jobs to kill people who purposely abuse their power and hurt the innocent with no remorse whatsoever. Her crowning moment was when I got to do a solo session with my DM, and Thea was able to jump basically one-shot pretty much everyone in the encounter since the DM said that I got the jump on them. There may have been some misinterpretation of how assassins work, but whatever. Mary, a construct necromancer with the Hollow One supernatural trait who's based off the puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's. Her crowning moment was her final battle and my first character death. In our first boss battle, we fought a powered-down lich who tried to end the fight by blowing up his spellbook and releasing all the energy from within. To defeat what was basically an elder god, she sacrificed herself in the same way, but not only destroyed her spellbook, but her whole body. She wanted to have her soul move on to the afterlife, so it wasn't too bad for my first character death, but it was indeed her crowning moment. Dr. Toxin, a kobold artificer based off of Plague Knight from Shovel Knight. I'm still playing with him, so he'll likely have more great crowning moments to dwarf this one. We were fighting some scary construct bosses that we weren't supposed to fight this early on, but we managed to solve the puzzle the DM gave us 3 sessions earlier than planned. It was his fault. One of the most troublesome was one that had some sort of acid core to it, and it was poisoning and wiping out some of our party. However, my guy is an alchemist, and knows more about poisons and acids and such than anyone else. He knew that an acid could be diluted to become harmless, so using the free use of a rule of cool moment that my DM gave me for doing a good job at role-playing, I used grease on the construct's acid core to dilute it, and make it completely useless. The construct could still fight, even summoning a drow to help fight it, and dropping a 20-foot by 20-foot by 20-foot cube of gold on it didn't kill it. But I deactivated some of its scariest abilities with a spell that is meant to just make enemies slip and fall on their butts. I have 2, both from 3.5 edition. My first character ever, whose name I can't recall this time, he was a ranger fighter multi-class slaver from a non-good campaign that once, in an attempt to intimidate 2 soon-to-be captives from fleeing, shot down at them from the cliff he was perched on. The shot was meant to be a warning shot that missed by only a hair, but instead took the guy's head off and pinned it to a tree. This caused the other to freeze and wet himself while the rest of the party dealt with the other members of the caravan we had ambushed. Olaf Scaleshield. He was a dwarf turned dragonborn of Bahamut Duskblade. I have 2 big memories of him. The first, we were fighting a group of enemies, and I had the bright idea for sorcerer to cast Ebon Eyes and Magical Darkness on him, and for the group tank, a half-ogre, half-chaos dragon, to drop him in the middle of the enemy group to act as a roving ball of deadly darkness. The second time, we were fighting a group of fire giants to claim a cliffside fort. Olaf was battling a giant on one of the walls overlooking the very steep, very long drop, and channeled a touch spell, Dimension Hop, which teleports the target 5 feet per 2 caster levels to an unoccupied space within line of sight. hit and sent the fire giant to a wily coyote-esque fall to its death off the wall. From Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Ooh, a Pathfinder one, I love these. Pendragon Magenstaff, a half-elemental sorcerer with a professor background. He was known for his epic diplomacy more so than actual combat awesomeness. He managed to diplomatically negotiate with a jackal-headed statue guardian that he didn't even speak the language of in order to stop a fight his comrades started, and allow them into the desert location it was guarding. From D&D 5th Edition. Tora Moonclaw, a Tabaxi Way of the Sun soul monk. Her most epic moment was smashing through thorns that were guarding a boss when no one else could get through with magic or ranged weapons, all because she was bold enough to use her bare fists. Shardan Magenstaff, a half-elf trickery domain cleric wild magic sorcerer. His crowning moment is crossing a battlefield in front of a wind elemental that could not get an opportunity attack on him since he was never outside its range, in order to cast Revivify on a comrade. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, back at it again to check in after the vid, making sure everybody here is staying happy, healthy, hydrated, and still doing A-OK deep down under. Hope everybody's having a good day. Make sure to leave a like, to subscribe, and to ring that bell to get notified whenever we post or go live. And if you'd like to catch us live, do so on Twitch, where we do sometimes go live to read your stories out for the whole world to see with all the flaws enabled. And if you want to submit a story to us, do so on r/MrRipper. Using a sister channel hookup, you can go over to Riptovia as well to see a little bit of the same, a little bit of the different content. Usually we have more solid structure stories and one-off spin-offs more than anything else. So that being said, check the links in the description below to see all those and more. And if you want to come say hi to me, your favorite narrator from Ohio, then do so at Brian Von VA on Twitch or on YouTube. Links are in the description. As always, I try to end on a positive note, and I just want to say I really hope that everybody's taking care of themselves out there. I know that the world's kind of chaotic still, and people are getting fed up with everything, but it's the holiday season, and I want everyone out there to make sure to call your loved ones, to take good care of yourselves, and to make sure that you're healthy in all three core aspects: mental, physical, and financial. It's not easy to be that way sometimes, and you're entitled to your little moments of flaw, which everyone is, but I want to make sure that everybody out there puts their health paramount, first, foremost, because all of you are worth it and all of you matter. All the love, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.